Left to freeze with a note, "No one's child," the rancher said, "You're mine now." The snow had been falling since before dawn, thick and merciless, turning the small railway town into a white graveyard of silence. The wooden bench near the station was already half buried when Ethan Walker noticed something wasn't right. At first, he thought it was just a bundle of old clothes tossed aside, forgotten like so many things in this town. Then it moved. Ethan stopped. Years of ranch life had sharpened his instincts, and something deep in his chest tightened. He stepped closer, boots crunching against the ice, and there he saw her, a little girl, no older than 6, slumped against the bench. Her dress was thin, torn at the hem, soaked with melting snow. Her bare feet were blue with cold, her lips cracked, her breathing shallow. Beside her lay a piece of cardboard, weighed down by a small stone. 3 words were written in uneven black ink. "No one's child." Ethan's breath caught. He had seen cruelty before, animals abandoned, land destroyed, people turning their backs when help was needed, but this was different. This was a child, left here to disappear quietly into the winter. He knelt beside her, ignoring how the cold bit through his jeans. "Hey," he said gently, placing a gloved hand on her shoulder. She flinched, then slowly opened her eyes. They were dull with exhaustion, but still searching. "Don't be scared," Ethan whispered. "I've got you." He took off his heavy coat and wrapped it around her fragile body. She tried to speak, but no sound came out. Ethan lifted her carefully, as if she were made of glass, and held her close to his chest. "You're not freezing today," he muttered, his voice breaking. "Not on my watch." The ranch house was warm, filled with the smell of wood smoke and old memories. Ethan laid the girl near the fireplace, wrapped her in blankets, and poured warm milk with trembling hands. Slowly, color returned to her cheeks. When she finally fell asleep, curled up like a frightened kitten, Ethan sat nearby and watched the fire burn. He hadn't planned for this. His life was quiet, too quiet. His wife had died years ago, their unborn child buried with her. Since then, the ranch had been his only companion. Animals didn't ask questions. They didn't remind him of what he had lost. But now, as the little girl slept under his roof, something long dead stirred inside him. When she woke, she stared at him with wide eyes. "Am I dead?" she asked softly. Ethan swallowed hard. "No, sweetheart. You're safe." "What's your name?" she asked. "Ethan." "And yours?" She hesitated. "Lily." "Lily," he repeated, smiling. "That's a good name." She glanced around the room. "Are you going to send me away?" The question cut deeper than any knife. Ethan leaned forward. "Why would you think that?" "Everyone does," she said simply. Ethan looked away, jaw clenched. Then he met her eyes again. "Not me." Days passed, and Lily stayed. She ate cautiously at first, as if the food might vanish. She flinched at sudden noises, slept with the light on, and never wandered far from Ethan's shadow. But slowly, trust grew. She laughed when the ranch dogs chased each other. She smiled when Ethan showed her how to feed the horses. One evening, as snow tapped softly against the windows, Lily asked, "Why did you help me?" Ethan stared into his coffee. "Because leaving you there would have killed you." "That's not why," she said quietly. He sighed. "Because I know what it's like to be left alone." She nodded, as if she understood more than a child should. When the authorities came, Lily hid behind Ethan's leg, clutching his hand with desperate strength. Papers were signed. Questions were asked. Social workers whispered about procedures and temporary placements. Ethan stood firm. "She's not going anywhere," he said. "I'll do whatever it takes." Weeks later, the decision was final. Lily was his. On a clear winter morning, Ethan took Lily back to the station. The bench was still there, weathered and cold. Lily looked at it, then at Ethan. "This is where you found me," she said. "Yes." She pulled the old cardboard sign from her coat pocket, the one that had nearly sealed her fate. "No one's child," she read aloud. Ethan crouched beside her. That was never true. Lily smiled and tore the sign in half, letting the pieces fall into the snow. "What am I now?" she asked. Ethan placed his hand on her shoulder, his voice steady, his heart full. "You're mine now. And I'm yours." The wind carried away the last scraps of paper, but not the story. Some stories don't end where they begin. Some begin where the world once gave up, and are saved by someone who refused to walk away.